Alright, welcome to IT Security Labs. In today's live stream, we're going to be looking at the Heartbleed vulnerability. And thank you all for joining me today. This is going to be an awesome, yet another wonderful learning experience for all of us who are learning cybersecurity skills. And thank you for joining. As the title says, we are actually looking at the Heartbleed vulnerability. It is the most common, well-known vulnerability out there. And because it's so well-known, it's a very easy target for us to use for learning purposes. It was disclosed in 2014 and it caused a lot of havoc for a lot of industries out there. But today we get to use it as a good learning experience for us. So I'm going to explain a little bit what it is, what the vulnerability is. Then we'll also complete a sort of an attack of Heartbleed. And above all, us as the good guys, we're going to look at how did we detect it? How is the detection going? Can we see it? And if we see it, how are the rules created? These are the most important questions that we want to learn is how do we create the rules to detect these attacks? What do they look like when they're in our environment? And what can we learn from it? So thank you very much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you who is here tonight. And let me know if I have any issues with my audio. But thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Sup Zeus, how is it going, man? Thank you for joining. Appreciate you being here. So, like I said, today we're going to be working on the Heartbleed attack. And here's a quick rundown of what we have. We have Security Onion, which is going to be our main engine for detecting. And everything is set up this way. Let me show you a quick network diagram that I have here. Let's open an existing diagram. I think it's this one. This way you know what we are working with here. All right, thank you. Zeus, congrats on your 2K subs, man. It took me a while to get to 2,000 subscribers. So congrats on that. All right, so here is our network diagram and what it looks like. So we have the internet, we have our firewall, and this is the firewall that we spoke about last time in my video yesterday. This is a second gen firewall now running OpenSense. And then we have a switch, we have a Dell server, and actually this diagram is missing something. Let me add it for you here. So right here we have Security Onion. So this right here is Security Onion. And Security Onion is connected to this switch right here. Let's make a connection here. This is not going to look nice right now. And Security Onion is connected to this switch. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm monitoring the traffic that is coming to the Dell server here. And this is the server where we are running all the vulnerable machines and stuff like that. Our attack machine is right here. So I'm sitting here on this laptop connected to an access point that is connected to this switch, and Security Onion is monitoring the traffic that is coming in and out of this interface. So this way, when we do the attack, we are able to catch the attack in action in a real network environment. This is not like some simulated stuff. This is us actually generating real network traffic that looks like what it will look like in a real production environment. And that's the goal for here, is that we'll produce this traffic from this attacker machine or through this switch to this Dell server that is hosting a vulnerable server. We'll do the attack, then we'll be able to see in Security Onion. That's our setup right now. And if you want to set it up for yourself, go to our YouTube channel. We have the whole setup on how to set this up, with including Security Onion. So check out our YouTube channel and you'll be able to set it up. Welcome to our live stream, BT. It's good to see you. Faoud, good to see you, man. Matthew, thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys being here. All right, so this is the network diagram that we're working on. This is my Kali Linux machine. Right now it's running in my VMware Fusion. So here's Kali. This Kali Linux is connected to that network that you're looking at. And then we have our VMware server, which is 192.168.16. And this server here is what's hosting, oh, come on. This is what's hosting our ESXi and our vulnerable machine. Let's go to vCenter. And this is the same infrastructure here. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm just showing you so you can see what the setup looks like. Then when we start the attack, you get to know what's going on and how we're getting all this traffic here. All right. And awesome. That's good to know, BT. All right, so this is what we have as our host. Remember, our network diagram said that we have a Dell server. This is a single PowerEdge R720 with 120 gigs of RAM. And here are all the machines that are running in there. Of one of those machines is one called Heartbleed. This is the machine that we'll be attacking today, and I will show you how I was able to set it up. Then we also have Security Onion, which is running here. I have a second Security Onion that I'll be adding in the future. You'll be seeing this clustered very soon. But for now, I have one Security Onion that's running here. I have a Heartbleed machine. This is a CentOS 8 machine running Heartbleed Docker container. Pretty simple, straightforward. And that's how we have all this set up. And now that we have the setup out of the way, let me show you where I got the Heartbleed. For Heartbleed, because I just wanted something very quick to set up, I used this GitHub page here, and it's pretty much a Docker container that you pull from Docker, and then you're able to run it. And after installing CentOS 8, you install Docker. Then after installing Docker, you run Docker pull, then you run the container. So you'll notice here that my container, I've port 443 here. That's what I'm going to be accessing for this machine here, even though 443 is inside. So that's what we have, and that's how I have my Heartbleed set up. If you want to set it up for your own practice, this is what you do. You just install CentOS 8, install Docker, and after that, you're able to access your machine on this IP address. Speaking of accessing the machine, they say once you do this, you go to HTTP, your IP address, and port 8443. In this case, if we go to here, our Heartbleed is running on this IP address. So let's go and access it. And we need port 8443. This is just verifying that our vulnerable machine is available. So here is a machine. As you can see, it says this is a vulnerable web server showcasing Heartbleed. All right. So now that you know how I have everything set up, let me know if you have any questions for me in the comments. But that's how I have my Heartbleed set up. I got it from, I actually found this on the Docker Hub. Then it led me to this page here. All right. And there are multiple versions of the Heartbleed vulnerability that you can find on Docker images on Docker Hub, but this is the one that I just chose out randomly. All right, now to the fun part. Let's exploit this Heartbleed vulnerability that is running in our machine inside of Docker in here from our Kali Linux down here. And then during that process, we want to be able to make sure that we are capturing the traffic. And then when we are done with the quick attack, we'll come in here and look at what Heartbleed has done, how is it detected, how did they generate the rule that detected it, what are they looking at. Then from there we can at least learn something about generating rules, detecting things, and how people go about the process of detecting. And that's the whole idea here. The idea is that we need to make sure that we learn how rules are generated, how things are detected, and how attackers work. This is a very, very important component of our life to begin with. Awesome. Matthew says, can you ping? Yeah, like that's always what we need to do. Let's go to our Kali Linux here and do that. Let's make sure that we can ping 192.168.38. Did I say 22 or 23? I think 23. Yes, so we can get there. As always, let's treat this like we didn't, it's a white box, right? We didn't know anything about this machine. What do we normally do? We do our nmap scan minus SV, even though we kind of know this time. SC, and then 192.168.38.22. I think it's 22. 23. I was going to be scanning a different machine here. All right, so now we're just scanning with nmap. We're saying, hey, nmap, let us know what's open on this machine. What do we have? And this is a generic one. After nmap finds the port that we have exposed, I'm going to use a targeted script for Heartbleed within nmap to see if it's actually going to find it or not. And during this time, we're generating a lot of noise right now. Security Onion should be detecting our nmap scans. And this is almost like the third or fourth time that I've shown you in a live stream how much noise nmap generates. So hopefully you're becoming familiar with how much noise nmap generates when we run it this way, at least. All right, so as you can see, we actually found our port. Port 8443 is open. 99 is closed for now, but we also have port 22. All right, so as you can see, our port 8443 is here. Let's redo nmap, and this time actually scan for the vulnerability. There is a script that you can use with nmap to scan for this vulnerability, and I think now we can do -p 8443. Now we're specifying the port and saying on this port, let's scan it. In particular, let's use the script for SSL-Heartbleed on the IP address 192.168.38.23. So this right here is going to say, hey, nmap, let's scan using a custom script. Nmap comes loaded with scripts that you can point and say, hey, let's search for the Heartbleed vulnerability using the nmap script. And as you can see, it's very quick. It says, yes, our target is vulnerable, which is what we already know. So now that we know that our target is vulnerable to a Heartbleed, we even have references here of material that we can read. You can say open link. Let's hope my next gen firewall will not be blocking me to go to these locations here. But let's go and read more about Heartbleed. What is Heartbleed? How does it work? How can we exploit Heartbleed? Then after knowing a little bit about Heartbleed attack, then we can do the complete attack, and after that we can look at the logs that are generated. All right, so you go to Google and you literally Google and say, what is Heartbleed? And as you can see, there's a lot of material, but I can give you a quick rundown. A lot of people who work in information InfoSec know about the Heartbleed. It was a big deal in 2014. It caused a lot of trouble for the Canadians. I think the Canadian social security systems were affected. Some people's information, was it social security system or social security numbers or something like that in Canada happened. And also in the United States in healthcare, it affected a lot of people. So this is one of those bugs that when you go to an interview, people might ask you something about it, or at least they'll ask you about some of these common bugs like shell shock that we did last week, and this is another one. And when machines communicate with each other, they keep a heartbeat. So when you initiate a communication with another machine, and then there's SSL implemented, or at least OpenSSL, the machines maintain sort of like a heartbeat, which means that checking in with each other, say, okay, are you still around? Are you still there? And then they send it there, and this one say, yep, I'm still around. Then they maintain the connection and the encryption. And in the OpenSSL version 1.1, or what this one that we have here, that's the one that was vulnerable. Because of this type of communication of the heartbeat, attackers found a way to exploit that, and this was actually vulnerable to a point where you can exploit that communication where the machines are checking in with each other to actually intercept and get clear text data from encrypted, supposedly encrypted SSL data. And that's the problem, because if you are accessing a website and you are putting in your credentials, you are trusting that no one can see that, right? Well, with this Heartbleed vulnerability, attackers can see data that they shouldn't. It's not just maybe authentication, it's any data that is in transit. Attackers can see it in plain text. And that's how this bug works. So maybe you should spend some time, just read about it if I'm not explaining it properly for you, but that's the gist of it, is that it's actually exposing data that it shouldn't. And I'll show you the exposure here in a little bit. So for example, since we found out that our machine is vulnerable, let's open here, and the risk factor is high, we can actually now exploit this vulnerability. There are multiple ways you can do it. One of them is you can use search exploit, which you have seen me use here, and just search for Heartbleed. Search exploit, not search exploit. And search exploit is going to find if my local database, which is a part of the exploit DB, actually has any interesting ones. And we are interested in one of these. Let's try this one. This one says memory disclosure. We can use this one. This is a Python script. This is just one of the many ways that you can use this for. So we can do search exploit -x to read this to see what it's doing. All right. So here is the Python script that we're running. This is going to exploit the Heartbleed. And as you can see here, let's see. Okay, so here's the syntax for us. We can specify a port. Default port is 443. This is why maybe you should look at these scripts before you start running them. If we had ran it, this one is saying default is 443, so we need to specify a port here. But the usage is pretty simple. We can just point our target to it. Okay, so let's do that. So if you if you're just joining us, we are actually in the process of trying to exploit the Heartbleed vulnerability using the Python script that we found through search exploit. I'm also going to use the Metasploit module as well. That way I can generate a lot of noise. When we go to Security Onion to look at our alerts, we'll at least see different ones, just in case Metasploit generates something different. But for now, I did this. Let's go here. So we use search exploit to find Heartbleed, and we found now I'm conflicted. Which one? I think this one will do. And we did this. -x to read that. And we found out from here that we can specify a port by -p or --p. Let's see if it says verbose. No. All right, let's try that first before we go to Metasploit. So if you have seen me in action, you know that this is what I do when I find these, so I can get the absolute path. Let's do 192.168.38. That's our IP address. 22, then -p 8443. Now let's see. All right, so you see what I did here? I need to call Python, and let's hope this one works with normal Python. And here we go. Bam. All right, so this is what it looks like when we have the server is vulnerable. It says the server is vulnerable down here. So this is just a test, but look at this. This output here shows us the information leak that we have. It's disclosing information that it shouldn't do. So let's go up here. We have a bunch of information here that we're looking at that we shouldn't be having. And in this case, it starts from right here. If these were any like HTTP post or GET request, I'll be getting them here. In fact, we can use burp switch to generate fake posts right here or GET request, and we'll be able to see them in real time here if we were doing a package capture. But right now we see that it's working. So let's use Metasploit, and this time let's make it verbose and also see if we generate the same results. So this should have been picked up by Security Onion. The fact that we just ran this script right here. The reason why I think that it should be picked up is because Security Onion, the version that I'm using was released 3 weeks ago. It has Suricata, and the Suricata rules have been updated since 2014, so it should work. That's why I'm saying this should work here. But that's one way to do it, and as you can see, it's a pretty simple attack. And during this time, we're already generating a bunch of traffic. Let's go to MSF console. This time, we're going to use Metasploit and see what we can see from the actual server itself. All right, there we go. It's starting up. Let's give it a moment here to start up. All right, so we're in here. Can I do this? All right, yes, we can. We searched for Heartbleed, and this time we want this one, the information link. So you can say use 0. Now we're going to be using this auxiliary module. Remember, this is the same as exploit DB, so we're just going to use the Metasploit module. So let's say show options. What do I need to set up for it to work? Of course, it's going to need an R host, so set R host. Okay. .38.23. Oh, wait a second. What? All right, so our host is 192.168.30.23. We can do another show options again, or options. And this time it wants our port by default is 443, so we need to set that one to our port. To 8443. And then we want to be able to see. So what is it? Is this set verbose equals to true? And let's see. No, it doesn't like that. How do I set it up so that it's verbose? Let me see. I want to be able to see the attack, otherwise I won't be able to see it. This time we're not getting any shell back or anything like that. Oh, I'm doing it again. All right, now if I say show options, I should see my remote host is set up. Everything should be fine. All right, so let's run exploit. This is going to do exactly what the Python script did. but let's see if this will work. Right, so now we can at least see more information. Right now, as you can see, we actually are getting more data right here. This is what Heartbleed is doing. It's exposing information in plain text, which it shouldn't. So we know that it works. We know that we can exploit the vulnerability using both a Python script and an Metasploit module. Another fun thing that you can do is you can set up burp suite, then use intruder to sort of mimic this attack as well. But for now, I think I've generated enough noise for me to go and spend more time where we need to be, which is security onion. So we did a we did a Heartbleed attack. Now let's go find out if our trusted security onion caught it. We're going to look at two things here. We're going to look at the alert itself from here. We're going to look at the hunt interface, where we can actually hunt for the data, the specific data, maybe even pull a pcap if we can. Then we'll spend some time in Kibana, where we'll actually look at the data in detail and what it looks like in Kibana, because I think learning Kibana is a very important component of this lab as well, and being able to visualize it. Right, so let's start with the alerts section here. If you have not used Security Onion before, this is an alert interface. That's where your alerts come in real time, and they're really not sorted according to anything specific right now, but you can sort them by, if you go right here, you can group them by source IP and name. You can group by destination IP, destination and port. You can even use all of them. So let's use everything. Now we have more information here. We have a bunch of alerts that that were generated. But what if we just wanted to search for the ones that were generated by our servers? So let's go and find out what our IP address is here. For our Kali, it's 192.168.38.133. So this is what we want. Let's say maybe this was our destination. Let's go to our hunt first. All right, so this is saying last 24 hours. I don't want last 24 hours. To make it easy for my system, I just want it to maybe say last 4 hours. This is going to search less, and same as here, this is saying last 2 hours. But here we can quickly look at all the noise that we generated in the last 2 hours here. We can see a bunch of malformed heartbeat requests. That's the Heartbleed attacks that we were performing. As you can see here, we have 7 of those. Malformed heartbeat response, that's also our server responding back to us. So we can see that we did pick it up, including possible OpenSSL Heartbleed large response. This will be interesting to look at. And this was rated as a medium by Surikata. So these are sort of the alerts that you'll be looking at, say, if you deployed this in production. And most likely you do not want to see this. So if you are the security administrator, you most likely do not want to see this. And if you do, you need to investigate it right away. But in this lab here, let's say we wanted to look at this in detail. We wanted to, let's see which one I can choose. Yeah, this one. I can click here where it says escalated. I don't know if you can see that, but we can escalate it. And this is going to send it to our Hive interface. This is a security analysis interface. Let's sign in. And then I think we have a password. Let's see if it works. All right, so this is the interface where if you were doing incident management, you would be putting more notes in here. And as you can see, the one that I just escalated is right here. So your job now is to use this as a place to document everything. So if you do something here, if you have any additional tasks you need to do, you can create them here. If you did something, you need to make sure that you document it in here so that when someone takes over this incident, they can see. But so far, this is where we have our incident. And from here, very quickly, we can see that this is the rule that fired. It's called ET possible SSL Heartbleed large response. And it was fired from Surikata and as a medium, which we already know. So this is good. It's already documented in here. after you have a bunch of incidents in here, people can sort them by severity and stuff like that. So this looks even nicer when it's in a production environment and there's more analysts interacting with it other than just one person like myself. But I just wanted to show you that it's a capability for Security Onion that you have that you can use. All right, interesting enough, let's go to our Kibana, and you can get to Kibana from Security Onion right here. And Kibana sort of interacts with our main database, which is Elasticsearch. It's a direct access to it, and it gives us the same information that we are looking at from the alerts section, but here we get more detail. And this is very important for us to actually learn from. And in this case, let's just use this one here, this filter that I already had, and I'll explain what it is. This is called the Kibana querying language, and you'll notice that a lot of systems have something similar, like a Splunk querying language looks something like this. So if you know how to use Kibana querying language, you will know how to use Splunk or other systems. They're pretty much the same. So right now I'm saying I want the event data set to be the alerts, because that's where I want it to be, and I want the source IP address to be 192.168.38.23, which is my vulnerable server. I want to see all the traffic that generated alerts that was coming from the Heartbleed machine. And in this case, I'm hoping to see that traffic that was vulnerable. And I should have changed this from 24 hours to last 2 hours to make it faster, but this should just work fine. And as you can see here, I have a graph that shows me when things were happening. This is when we were doing the attack. As you can see, it spiked a little bit, which would raise alarms in our network. And here's all the traffic that we had. But let's look at the actual alerts. I clicked on the alert tab right here. It says alert. So now I want to see the actual alerts listed. So we're just doing some security analysis here. If you joined us a little later, we are looking at the Heartbleed vulnerability. We ran Metasploit against our Heartbleed machine. We also ran a Python script to automatically attack. And then now we're saying we need to look at it in detail in here in Kibana. All right, I think I'm already here. So let's see, we have 17 alerts that did that. And as you can see, here's the source port, destination. This is, remember, this is our Kali Linux machine. So this is what was happening. Let's take a look at one of them. I'm a big fan of this. Somehow, this is the best way to look at this. I think having this interface helps a lot because you get all the information that you need as well. So here's the plain text data, network data decoded right here that we got from our victim machine. And according to the actual vulnerability here, we should have seen something along the line of like this, which is what we are seeing in our Security Onion right here. So as an analyst, you'll be taking maybe screenshots or documenting this and say, yes, this is actually an attack that happened, and here is evidence of the data that's showing up here. I'll show you another way to actually find this information if you don't have Kibana, but this is another way of finding it. And you can conclusively verify there's a timestamp here, which can prove to be very useful when you're looking for PCAPs. Then there is a destination IP address. Now someone will be looking at, okay, what is this IP address? Why is it sending malformed Heartbleed data? And in this case, you'll find out that it's a Kali Linux machine in our environment, which shouldn't be there unless if it's being used by a red team or something like that. Right, so we saw a source IP address, and then of interest to us is the rule that fired. So this is the alert that fired. And let's do a quick look at this because I think it's very, very interesting, at least for me. So it's saying if traffic is not I think if you put this exclamation mark, we're saying for HTTP, for traffic that is coming from the home net to any, put this message here, and this traffic has to have this content right here. Let's see if I can see that right here, 18 and 03. And I'll show you where this content is. So this is what triggered it. This right here, 18 and 03. Because of this 18 and 03, and this traffic was coming from our server, our home net, going out, we fired this rule. So how did these people reach this point here? They found out that when they were testing the Heartbleed vulnerability, these bits right here were part of the content 18 and 03. And let's look at those 18 and 03. Let's see if I'll be able to see them. So if I go to Security Onion, two ways we can do that. We can look at pickups, or we can just maybe go to the hunt interface. And from the hunt interface, I'm just saying source IP is going to be 192.168.38.28. So let's look at the malformed Heartbleed response. It should have that 1803, and that's how we are doing the detection. And for me, this is important because now I know that this is not some magic, or this is logical. They found traffic with a certain pattern and they actually followed it. So let's get a pickup from here. Show pickup for this event. So Security Onion will actually generate a pickup for us and show us what this data looks like in pickup format. Then from our pickup, we should now look at that 1803 and see if it works. Okay, here is our pickup data. We can view it this way. We can view it this way. It's pickup. You can download this pickup and look at it in Wireshark if you're comfortable with that. But for now, let's go to maybe here. Let's go to this one. I want to look for 1803. So let's go to hex here. And then, can I do a command F, 1803? Right here is what we had. And this is what I just wanted to show you. If you are going to take anything from today, is how we detected the Heartbleed and what part of, which components of the traffic are we looking at. And I think this takes it beyond a classroom environment where you learn the theory of detection and stuff like that. Now we're actually labbing and we're saying, okay, these people are claiming that this rule was fired by this content here. Do we have this content in our payload? We go to Security Onion, within the hunt interface, we find 1803. Sure enough, we have it here. It's part of the flow, and we have a pickup. So that's part of our detection, and I hope you take something from that. And then what does it say for us? So if there's a 0 day tomorrow that you read about, you can then bring it to this lab, capture the traffic, analyze the traffic. What is common? Which part of this traffic can we use for detection? Which part are the attackers manipulating? And once you know which part they're manipulating, how does it look in hexadecimal format? Then once you know that, maybe you can, as simple as come and create a rule that is identical to this and change this bit level here. And maybe the message that will be different. So you can see how easy it will be for someone like me to go and create a rule tomorrow, just based on what I know about how we are detecting Heartbleed. So that's what we have here. I hope you can try this in your own lab as well. Another component that you can use is to download the pickup, or you can now go and reference this pickup ID in our notes in the Hive. Maybe let somebody know that, hey, I already generated a pickup on this day here, and you can go and look at it again. Say if you're escalating this event to someone else, that's what you'll be able to do. So that's our attack for the day. I hope you find value in it. We will continue to do more of this. I want to spend more time digging into Security Onion, really identifying more things, learning more things that we can use for learning detection, and hopefully we can mature this process to a point where we can create our own rules within Security Onion. We have our playbooks here. Oh, this one is broken, but they come from the community Sigma rules right here, and we can actually generate our own rules by ourselves. So that's our attack. Let me look at the question that Someone was asking here. Okay, yeah, Matthew took care of this one. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so now that we went through the Heartbleed attack, I know it wasn't our normal CTF-like attack, but I just wanted to spend more time actually looking at Kibana and Security Onion. Other components that we can look at in Security Onion as we build this lab, the sensor part here. You see there's one here. My goal is to come in here, create multiple networks just within vSphere itself. Then within those networks, let me show you. Within those networks, have different networks. Like this is the VM network. I also have a LAN network that I can use. Then I can create maybe 3 more different networks. Then within those networks, plant a bunch of vulnerable machines. Then maybe we can have a CTF type of environment where we can pivot into things, maybe practice some SSH tunneling from one network to another and things like that. And each network will have its own Security Onion, which I think would be ideal for our sort of learning experience here. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know if you also would like to see something like that. I've seen it done by other people, and I think it is a nice, fun lab. And the goal is for me, when I go for the OSCP, I'll have sort of like multiple networks that I can pivot around and practice my OSCP, not just with their labs, but my own labs. So for those who joined a little later, we exploited Heartbleed. I just have a vulnerable machine with Heartbleed on it, and I use my Kali Linux to just run Metasploit against that machine. And then we looked at our traffic here, including the PCAP data. And what we found out is from the PCAP data, this is what we use. This is the components of the traffic that we used for detection purposes. And we saw the plain text data that Heartbleed shows. So this was sort of like a hands-on, hey, there's Heartbleed vulnerability out there. Here's how we detect it in Security Onion. And here's what it looks like when you look at it in Kibana. And here's the rule that they have, which is a pretty simple rule if you look at it. Even though it goes a little bit further here, but it's a pretty simple rule. And we can create our own rules in the future after looking at this. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you can subscribe to my channel, and we can keep doing this every Sunday at 9 p.m. Next week, I'm going to go back to our CTF type material. I'm going to go back to our list of vulnerable machines that are good for the OSCP. I am signed up for the CEH training. I'm going to be attending the live in-person 5-day training in 2 weeks. So that's going to be a little bit busy for me. I plan to sit for both of the exams the week after my training. I'm taking both the practical exam and also the theory exam. I'm almost tempted to take it on take both of them back to back, maybe one day after another. I'll see what I can do about that one. But I'll be taking the CEH exams because my employer is paying for them. And they send me some really good goodies. I can show you guys. Give me 1 minute. BT is asking, was Heartbleed root default on Security Onion or you created it yourself? This was default in Security Onion. You can actually go in Security Onion, or in the Security Onion GitHub page, you will be able to see the rule. It's a suricata rule that was deployed. So for most of these old exploits, you should expect rules to be already created. But hopefully you can use these rules also as a inspiration for you to hopefully create your own in the future. Right, so I got these books, CEH books. Let's switch this. So I got this one. This is the lab manual. So I'm going to have lab access to their labs, which is going to be good for me because I get some inspiration from them on how to do proper labs. I have 2 books from EC Council. This one is the official curriculum guide, and then I have another one, the official curriculum guide. So I plan to go through these books. I mean, they have big font and stuff like that. I plan to go through them hopefully in a few days, and then I have one of their tools that I don't know what to think about. I don't know what to think of this thing. If anyone has used this thing before, let me know. But this is supposed to be our mobile hacking toolkit. I posted it on our Facebook group, and people really had a few things to say about it. But I got it in the mail. It was part of the class. So this is what they call the Storm Mobile Security Toolkit. It's supposed to sound a little cool, right? Storm Mobile Security Toolkit. The Raspberry Pi tied to a tablet screen. I do get an Ethernet port here, a bunch of USB ports, I'm assuming keyboard and everything else, HDMI on top of it, and it's pretty much a tiny Raspberry Pi screen. It came with a keyboard. I cannot for the life of me use this keyboard. It's just unusable. As you can see, the size of my finger to these keys, it's painful to type. But this is a Storm Mobile Security Toolkit. So hopefully I can use this for testing wireless security pen testing component of my course. But for now, this sits in a drawer somewhere because I find it honestly a little annoying to use. I prefer my VMs for now. But if you have used the Mobile Security Toolkit, let me know in the comments any tips that I can use. I'm also going to be moving from Kali Linux to Parrot. The CEH exam uses Parrot OS, so I'm going to be moving to Parrot as well, just because I want to be able to do well during the exam part. Otherwise, that's what we had for today. Let's see. I'm just going to wait here and hang out with you guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and if anybody wants to ask anything. Juniper said you have PF Sense, you have a lab that you're working on. I'm trying to see what you were saying here. VMware 15, is it a Windows? Is it VMware Fusion or VMware Workstation? I'm very curious about that, your setup, because it sounds interesting to me. Yeah, the CEH practical is what I'm looking forward to. A lot of people don't have nice things to say about CEH. And honestly, I don't need the CEH right now. But since I have the opportunity and I have a chance to do it, I'm just going to go and do it. I got a bundle, the EC Council bundle. Let me show you what it is. So this is the bundle that I have. It's not self-paced. Well, it's both. I got the EC Council Masterclass. I think that's what I should look up for. All right, so This is what I got for my test that I'm going for. I got the masterclass, and with this masterclass here, I chose a live event for November. Oh, my dates are not showing up here. I have a live class, and it came with this Store Mobile Security Kit, and here's the price for it. And then I get some labs, and my masterclass actually came as a bundle. I'm surprised it's not here. It also has the pen testing part of it. So I get 3 exams, if I'm not mistaken. They're not showing it here. I got it as a bundle oh, let's look here, right here. Yeah, this is what I was supposed to choose from. So I chose this one, the penetration, the certified penetration testing professional and certified ethical hacker. So I'll go in live in person for CEH. Then after that, I have courseware and material to go for certified penetration tester course. So I will also sit for that one. And you know, you can never have enough of these certifications anyway. Whether people value them or not, I'm hoping to learn more from them, and that's the most important thing. Can you make a video for buffer overflow exploitation? Yes, I think I've done 2 from Hack the Box video. I think I have 2 videos on my Hack the Box series on my channel here, where I go for buffer overflow. And surprisingly, buffer overflows are super easy. At first, I was getting really confused. Then I watched the Cyber Mentors buffer overflow explanation. And if you go to the Cyber Mentors YouTube channel and watch his 3 or 4 buffer overflow videos, you'll be really good. You'll be golden. Yes, I know this is this certified penetration testing professional. What I'm saying is I got this course as part of the bundle of my CEH. So I'm going for the CEH live training and exams. Then after that, I also have this as part of the deal that I bought. So I have both. Then after that, I hope that will be good practice for me to then jump into the OSCP. So 2020, I'm going to get my CH out of the way. That's one certification I'm able to squeeze in 2020. Last year I got the CISSP. Then in 2021, I'll get the Certified Penetration Tester part. And over the past 5 years or so, I've sneaked in 1 or 2 certifications as things went. And that has been something that has helped me. And certifications really don't mean much. What I learn is what's important. Yeah, the explanations are too complicated. Yeah, I think what you need to do, spend some time on Hack the Box. A lot of people tell me that I should be fine with the OSCP based on what they've seen on my channel. I've done more than 50 machines on Hack the Box. There was a time when I was just going crazy, having a blast on Hack the Box. If you do a lot of those, especially the grandma and grandpa machines, you pick a lot of skills there. I didn't know that SSH channeling was a thing until I went there. I didn't know a lot of privilege escalation until I spent a lot of time on Hack the Box. And a lot of Vown Hub machines. You should be golden. Alright, so if you're joining us right now, a little later, we exploited the vulnerability and we were able to see the alerts and everything in here. And right now, I'm just answering any questions that people might have and also sharing a little bit of what the next few weeks for me are going to look like. And I'll be going for the CEH practical and also the other one, the multiple choice exams. So I can come back here and give an honest review of what CEH is and whether people can justify it for saying terrible things about it. And I'm excited to refresh my memory. I was going through some of these books. The web app exploitation component. There's a lot of things that I still don't know about web applications. I thought I did, like using how to use burp. I'm learning already out there, and I'm hoping once I pick on that knowledge, I can come here and sound even more knowledgeable for you guys. And BT, when are you going for your CEH exam? I plan on going for mine hopefully a week or a few days after my training, which is going to be near the end of this month. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. Yes, I agree. And on this channel as well, I think that we have covered a lot of concepts in our live streams that even if you have just been watching our live streams, you probably have picked on a few things, including something like how to just do basic enumeration. What I encourage you to do though is, if you don't have the Hack the Box, just go to Hack the Box and complete a bunch of challenges. I ranked to the guru level on Hack the Box. I don't know if I can call myself a guru, but when I was ranking, I did a bunch of challenges, I did a bunch of machines, and during that time I picked on a lot of useful skills that I don't think I would have learned if I didn't have such a fun environment to learn. And maybe we can create our own CTF environment as IT Security Labs. I've been thinking about that. Well, that's awesome. In December, yeah, that's around the same time I'll be taking mine. Awesome. Assembly. There's a lady on Twitter. I forgot her name. There's an assembly lady. She's really good with assembly, and I follow her on Twitter. I can find her name and let you know later. But she has a free assembly course or book that I took, and she makes it sound super easy. If anyone knows her name, let others know. But yeah, there is a person on Twitter that is really good with assembly that you can use. And really, part of what we do here is trying to nurture things that you enjoy, right? Just don't do this for, say, the money or anything. If you enjoy the hacking component, you'll find that you look forward to hacking. Like I look forward to at least cracking one machine every week. I end up cracking two. Just 3-4 hours a week, just sharpening your skills is something that's important. And part of that is doing what you like and avoiding what you don't, and doing what you don't like only if it helps you. And for me, this is what gets me excited, attacking things, finding out how much noise I'm generating, creating rules, detecting things, understanding how things are working, how they work in the background. And in this case, we got our nice security onion, which is all put together for us, which allows us to just look at things. So I think you should also continue to do the same during your free time and just nurture your skill set. But before we end today, let me show you another component that I added to our lab. So if you're following along our lab build series, I added a new component to our lab, and I upgraded from pfSense to this lab to OpenSense, and I'll explain why. The reason why I went to OpenSense is because of this Sensei tool here. In particular, this ability to add more features. You might have seen my video from yesterday. I'm really excited about the ability to create policies on my firewall, because this is what most people use. You will see that companies pay a lot of money for this, and we can deploy it in our lab for free. This is going to make our lab way better looking and also better monitored than most of the small to medium businesses that you see out there, to a point where if you show up for an interview and you say, yeah, I have a next gen firewall that blocks applications by categories, they might be like, whoa, we have never seen something like that. So I think this is an interesting component to have. You might not see it in smaller to medium business companies, but having these next gen features was helpful. There's more things you can do with this firewall, like integrated with Active Directory, which I plan to do, so you can track the users. If someone accesses the internet, not only will you know the machine that they were signed in, but you will have user-based tracking, which is also what happens in the real world, where they will know that you are the one who was trying to access certain things on the internet, or you're the affected user if they end up getting malware. So if you are doing our setup, this is what we have, and I added this component. I just happen to have the license for it, but you can use it for free. I use the free part. You will not even notice a big difference with it. And in this case, it will tell you the category of the apps that were generated. In this case, you can tell right away that I have a problem with my network configuration. This is network management traffic that is taking most of my bandwidth right now. And I can tell you what this is. This is my iMac reporting to an Elasticsearch cluster on a different network. So I have traffic transversing through my network, and it's management traffic. This is a big no-no. This is not an optimization for the network. So I need to make sure that I don't send management traffic out through my firewall and just consume bandwidth and resources that way. So that's what we have for this one. You can see some reports, and there's all kinds of information in the reports. Like, let's see what was blocked. So our attack that we were doing, we were not leaving the firewall. Otherwise, would have been blocked. We were doing it internally. But if we had an attacker coming from outside, this firewall would have blocked most of this Heartbleed stuff that we were doing. So we would not have made it. But here is what is being blocked, and this is good, especially in your lab environment, because when you're doing research on like different things and you're accessing in multiple blog sites and stuff like that, maybe access it from your lab. Then after clicking on too many blogs and too many links, and who knows where you end up on the internet, come and see what you were doing and how things ended up. And here is the category, and the most interesting one is right here, right above me, where you can see by host. You can tell who are the top talkers and what ports am I accessing and stuff like that. So that's what we did. I hope you can add OpenSense to your lab as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I can create a video on how I was able to do it. So far, the video that I made on Saturday is sufficient, I think, for most people, especially if you had a successful pfSense installation. Hello, how's it going, the OP bro? Nice. Live overflow and micro corruption are good for assembly. Yes, live overflow is really good. I watched some assembly from live overflow. I agree there. And yes, Bosch, you are definitely right there. I've spent hours on Hack the Box. I'm talking hours hacking machines and getting frustrated and hanging out. I've made friends, fellow hackers out there in different platforms, different what are they called? Telegraph rooms, where you end up looking for answers when you get stuck. Can you create a video on how to bridge Kali Linux to pfSense? I don't understand why you're trying to bridge it, because our network setup is like this. pfSense is acting as a main firewall. We have a DHCP server down here, so your Kali Linux, if it's running, say right here, it will just get to pfSense through the normal network setup. I'm not sure how you're bridging it. Are you running pfSense inside of Kali Linux? How how is your setup like? I guess that's a better question. On a VM, Kali Linux to pfSense. If you're connecting Kali Linux to pfSense, it should connect as part of a local area network. That means it should act, your Kali Linux machine should act as like any normal machine that is connected to a network on the LAN. There shouldn't be any special bridging that happens between Kali and pfSense other than just getting a normal IP address, whether static or DHCP. If you find yourself messing around, I'm not sure how you'll be doing that. Your pfSense should act as a router, so I'm not sure how you are bridging them. This is how I have pfSense and Kali Linux in the same environment right here. I can show you this setup very quickly. Here right now, pfSense has two interfaces. One interface, this one is a local network that is local to this machine. Then pfSense also has its other interface. Oh, did I click on the same one? So pfSense has two interfaces, one which is private that it creates, then another one which connects to Wi-Fi. That's its WAN, then the private is the LAN. Then all you need to do now is come to Kali Linux here, and here make sure that Kali Linux joins this private network down here. And that's what it looks like on a Mac. In Windows, I have a Windows machine somewhere. Let's hope I can get to it. Yeah, I can get to it. In Windows. All right, we're back. Someone said I got rooted. No. I applied an update to this iMac today and now it's misbehaving. That's what happens. I think I need to finish my upgrade. Thanks for sticking around. Alright, I only came back because someone had asked a question. Yes, so your pfSense is separate from your pfSense is your router. Then Kali is just like any other machine in that network. I'm impressed that everybody's stuck around. That's amazing. All right. Do we have any other business to finish here before we officially? Yes. That's exactly what we're saying. So if you're setting up your lab and you don't want people to root you, here's another nice trick that you can do. For your WAN interface, create a tunnel to Azure and use that as your gateway. So when, like for example, when I'm showing you traffic here and it's showing you public IPs and stuff like that, the reason why I don't care is because you're going to see that Azure machine is my gateway, which I go and ask for new DHCP IP addresses very often. So by the time you're probably trying to poke on it, I don't have anything exposed anyway, and when I do have a honeypot, it's going through that Azure tunnel. Yeah. It'll take more. Yeah. Is it I think I saw a question up here. Say, oh, this one. I mentioned checkpoint T160. Oh yeah, that was just a suggestion. You can run on pretty much any hardware that is supported. I used to run pfSense on an HP desktop with 2 interfaces on it. You just need a card with 2 interfaces. So an old desktop with 2 interfaces, if the CPU is supported and it's decent enough, i5, i7, you should be able to run it. That was just my suggestion, mostly because I wanted something that is rack mountable, and also I didn't want something that is too loud, and that checkpoint was a nice addition for me. It was super easy to set up. I set it up in 20 minutes, and right now it's very quiet. It allows me to actually run my lab. So if I go to my Grafana here, you see that this thing has been up for a few days now. I now run my lab all the time instead of just powering it off. What's my uptime? 5 days. So yeah, you can run your firewall on any hardware with 2 interfaces or more. You just need more interfaces, and preferably gigabit interfaces, so that it's a little faster. But 100 megs is fine for a lab. Alright, so thank you guys for being here. I know we had a little minor disruption here. So because of that, I'm just going to wait another 5 minutes to make sure that we answer everybody's question and we hang out. Otherwise, we can go and start a week. Let me know in the comments what you guys are looking forward to seeing in our lab. I'm thinking of monitoring everything with Zabbix or Greylog, one of the two. That's going to monitor our infrastructure as in CPU usage, have our inventory and everything set up. I'm thinking of Zabbix or Greylog. One of the two might work. I'll see which one. And I've already added I'm adding Ansible as part of our configuration management system for automation. So we're going all DevSecOps here. We're going to have Ansible for automating our configuration management and everything. We also have, if possible, I would like us to have something similar to Artifactory for automating Docker builds, and a local Git repository that we can keep things so that we can have version control and everything. That's sort of things that you can see once you move into the corporate world in the engineering type of work. And right nowadays, anyway, as a pen tester, you'll be pen testing things like that involve CI/CD environments. So it's good to get used to that. Right. So if nobody has any more questions, I will be making more content this week. So stay tuned. Otherwise, thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next time.